Go ahead and get us started. My name again is Tracy Kulik. I am from Enterprise Services. I'm the Director of Change Management and Communications for ES. We have, I think, one of our acquisition colleagues on the phone here from Enterprise Services. I think Joanne was joining us today. Just taking.
Hi, I'm here.
Hey, great. Thank you so much. Great. So I am not an acquisition professional. I don't play one on TV either. So if we do have acquisition specific questions, she has kindly volunteered to help us field those if we have them. If for some reason there's a question that comes up today or more than one that we're unable to answer, we'll certainly get back to this group after the training to get that answer to you all. Okay, couple things too to note. We will be sharing the deck of this training with you all after the meeting, and also a recording link. So you can see that we are recording this. We do keep the link and we share that link out with everyone because then you can refer back if you need to, or you can also share it with colleagues who maybe were unable to attend the meeting. Okay, so hopefully that answers some questions for you. I am seeing that some new folks are joining us. If you could make sure that your device is muted, that would be excellent. I do get sometimes an echo here, and we also certainly don't want to overhear anything going on in your workspace that you would rather keep at the house. So we've had some fun with that over the last year and a half, haven't we all? All righty. Okay, so what we're going to do today, we can go ahead and go to the next slide. I am going to ask folks to put any questions that they might have in that little chat box you can see here. I'm sure everyone by now knows how to use it, but it's that little speech bubble at the top of the bar, the little, I'm not sure what to call that, the bar, right, where you can see who's here and you can raise your hand or things of that nature. Also where the camera and mute button are, okay? So you can go ahead and put any questions that you have in the chat. We will definitely have time at the end for questions. We may be able to answer them in the chat as we go through. I do have a couple of our team members on the line who typically are able to help with that, but we do have someone doing a demo for us today too, AP from my team. So many hands, right, make the work light. Alrighty, so let's take a look at this slide. This is our agenda. We try to do a lot of visual representations for you to kind of keep it a little more exciting instead of just looking at bullets on a slide, right? Which is pretty much most of my day. But you know, introductions, right? We're talking about the objectives and so forth. Then we're going to move into an overview of Portal 2.0, right? Kind of talking about the key benefits and changes that we've made to improve it. Then we're going to talk about acquisition specific actions and resources. So that's going to be really kind of the meat of the session for you all, outlining the changes, you know, what you'll be experiencing, and those slides will be very valuable to you as resources later. We've got a lot of great information on there that you can kind of keep as a reference. Then we'll have a demonstration. So we've found that this training method has been very successful with our customer bureaus, where we talk through things, we show slides, we give them graphic representations that they can save, and then we demonstrate it in the portal. And then we'll come back to your reactions. We want to know what you think, you know, and we have this great little interactive polling feature called Poll Everywhere, and it allows people to participate live, real time, but it's non-attributional, right? So if we're asking questions about thoughts and feelings and you want to share something that, you know, may not necessarily be the most popular opinion, you know, it's completely anonymous and you can just, you know, react and share your information that way. Or as I mentioned earlier, you're absolutely welcome to put any questions or comments in the chat. We will see it, okay? And then we'll wrap it up. We'll talk about what's next and what comes after that. So, all right, cool. I don't see anything in the chat so far. So we can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Okay, we're going to do a Portal 2.0 overview. I do keep hearing some noise though. I'd like everyone to just one last check to make sure that you are in fact muted, if you don't mind. That way we don't have any interference, or, you know, people can still hear. There's no echoing and things like that. So if everybody could just check that their microphone is muted, I appreciate it. All right, and let's go ahead and go to the next slide then. All right, so I mentioned our little interactive polling feature. There's two ways that you can participate. You can open up a new browser window and go to pollev.com/eservices883, and you can put your answer in that way. Or you can use your smartphone, and the number that you would text to is the 336-4460-0954 number. You can go ahead and, oh, thank you, Sarah. So Sarah put the link if you want to participate via web. Sarah put that link in the chat. So you're not going to put your choice of number in the chat. You're going to either use your smartphone to participate, and the instructions are up above here, or you can go to the link that Sarah put in the chat and go ahead and participate that way. So if you go to that number and you text the term eServices883, it's going to bring you in, and then you can put in your choice. And obviously we have lots of people who figured it out. Thank you guys. It's a pretty broad spectrum here. Usually we get everybody kind of around 5, 6, 7, 8, but it looks like we've got some folks who are relatively unfamiliar with the portal. Someone asked, does the smartphone charge for text? I don't know, but I would say, since I don't know, go ahead and use the link that Sarah put in the meeting chat. I don't want to cost you any money for playing my game today. Great question, thank you. We'll have to make sure we know the answer to that for next time. All right, so if you guys can see here, we've still got some answers coming in. Looks like most people have at least heard of the portal. We've got 1 or 2 folks who maybe haven't, but we're really kind of solidly in the middle here where a lot of folks are somewhat familiar, okay? So that's good, and I'll tell you why, because the first version of the portal, while better than nothing, right, which is what we had before, we didn't have a portal, we didn't have a one-stop shop for information and for tracking requests and things. While it was better than nothing, it definitely wasn't the best. And it was pretty evident early on that there were a lot of things we could have done better. And I will say, you know, we put a lot of thought and effort into that first version of the portal. We did a lot of focus groups with customer groups. We hired someone to help us design it, you know, customer-centric design, all the things. And we came up with this thing that we thought was great. And pretty much from the first day that we went live with it, we started cataloging all the things that weren't working quite the way we thought, or that customers were giving us feedback on, like, hey, this is really clunky. This search is not good, right? That was actually feedback that I gave for many years about the search. And now that we're all over to the better portal with the great search, I feel better, and I can talk about my PTSD from that first search function. But honestly, like, it was just not user friendly, and it was definitely a sore spot for a lot of our customers. They just found that, you know, they couldn't find what they were looking for, and that of course leads to frustration and then dissatisfaction. So the good news is we gathered feedback for 3.5 years from folks about what we could do better with the portal. And we took it all and we came up with this new version. So if you're not very experienced with it, that's good, because I think you'll be happy and have a better experience initially with this portal. If you are relatively experienced and you have had the frustration that I'm sharing, then you're definitely going to be happy. So, all right, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Thank you guys for participating in our poll. Appreciate it. All right, what is enterprise services and what is the portal? So as acquisition professionals, you know that enterprise services provides HR, acquisition, IT, and in the future, we would provide financial management services. But for right now, it's HR, acquisition, and IT. So Chris Wallace and Jean Mann lead the acquisitions services that ES provides. Okay, so that's where they fit into. Enterprise services is an organization with different towers. We've got HR services, acquisition, and IT. Okay, so they're part of that. They're one of the towers in there. The portal is a way for enterprise services to provide access in kind of a one-stop shop manner to all of our services that we provide to customers. Now, some of you on this call are not receiving HR services from us, so you may not be familiar, as I mentioned earlier, but we're going to walk you through all of the way that you'll be using the portal and the way it works and things. But it's actually a place where customers can find information, resources, links to other sites and services that they may need to use, right? And then just really giving a lot of general tracking information for requests that are made. So if it's an IT request, an acquisition request, or an HR request, now there's a place for them to look and see where it is in the queue, right? Where am I here? Is someone processing my action? Is someone, finalizing? Have they just started looking at it? Is there something missing that I need to provide? All of that can be accessed 24/7 on the portal. Okay, so that's a big change, right? Because previously, especially for HR services, we really were at the mercy of the regular workday. And if you're someone who's not necessarily, all right, somebody put in the box here, is this the same presentation as the employee orientation to the portal? The answer is the beginning is the same, but there is a section here that is applicable to acquisition professionals. So yes, the initial part is going to be the same if you've attended one of the others. But if you are someone who is an acquisition professional, then you're definitely going to want to stick around. So you have permission to multitask if this is something you've seen before, but only you. I'm just kidding. You guys need to do what you need to do. Okay, sorry, got sidetracked, but I wanted to make sure I answered that question real quick. So 24/7 information, right? You can get on there. We're not at the mercy of regular East Coast business hours anymore, especially for our folks who are potentially overseas or in other time zones. And, that's just not convenient for them. If they were trying to make a phone call or get in touch with someone out here, they weren't able to reach them or get the service that they needed. We also have, I mentioned the status tracking. That is, and we're going to demonstrate that soon. That is really the key benefit to the portal, is knowing at any given time where your request is. If you put in a question, you can see that someone is, has responded to it. That it's being taken care of, that they've looked at it, whereas if we're just emailing something in or potentially calling someone, if we're able to get a hold of them, sometimes you don't have that visibility into the tracking. And it also makes it easier for the folks who are doing that work for you, right? Because now they can look back, they can see when things come in, they get a notification. Maybe they're not always in their email, so they're not able to keep up with that, but there's notifications in the portal. They can get in there really quickly, provide the update that's needed, and things like that. So tracking and consistency are very important when it comes to this kind of work. Okay. All right, we can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. What's new in Portal 2.0? So as I said, we have made some upgrades. I won't spend a ton of time talking about this because I really want to get to the part where we're showing you the portal, but we did have several listening sessions last summer because we knew that we were going to be upgrading the portal, and we wanted to get back in touch with customers and ask them specifically, what improvements are you looking for? What's not working great? What do we need to do better? What does your dream portal look like? Like for me, my dream portal is, Amazon.com, right? Or Google. Google search bar is really all I need in my life, right? So those are the kinds of things we heard from customers, like, we want it to be as easy as online shopping. My hope is that we're getting there. We're closer than we were before. I don't know that we're exactly there yet, but it's better. Anyway, so taking all that feedback, right, what we mainly heard from folks was we'd like it to be more personalized. We don't want to have to look at announcements for every other bureau. Like, I don't have time to be, spending all my time scrolling through a bunch of announcements that don't apply to me. It would be nice if when I logged in, the first thing I saw was stuff that's applicable to my role or my bureau. So we heard that. We also heard that there were pain points with long wait times for ticket resolution, confusion, about portal navigation. I mentioned the clunky search that we had before. So, those are the kinds of things we heard. So we took that and we made 6 categories of improvements. First one was personalizing the homepage. Now, because this new system is role-based and based on your bureau, you will only see things that are applicable to you. So there's a lot less clutter on your personal page, and you're going to see the things that you've favorited, the things that are applicable to you based on your role as an acquisitions professional, for instance, or the bureau that you belong to, right? And things like that. You're really only going to see the things that are interesting to you when you first log on there. One ticket page. We used to have lots of ticket pages depending on what kind of ticket you had open. If you are, can I ask that folks go ahead and mute their phones, please, or mute their device? And yes, thanks, Sarah, for putting that in there. I've noticed that we've had a bunch of folks join a few minutes late. No worries, we only covered the agenda and some intro information, and we are recording this, so you'll have access to the full recording later. But most of it was just like introductions, going through the agenda and so on, okay? And right now we're talking about enhancements that have been made to the portal based on customer feedback. So we kind of combined everything into one ticket page. And the reason that that was important is we've got a lot of folks, right, who are proxies for other people. You know, maybe you don't just put in tickets for yourself. Maybe you are a proxy for one manager. You might be a proxy for 4 managers, right? You might be someone who has to put in tickets for other people, you know, and I'm not sure if anyone on here is an HR professional and an acquisition professional, but if you were, you would be putting in lots of tickets for other people too in your HR role. So that got very confusing. We brought everything together in one page and made a very robust filtering system so that it's much easier for folks to keep track of things. That was a big win, I think. Clear notifications. We had, in our old system, we had tickets and incidents and requests, okay? And so when people would turn in a certain kind of ticket, once we figured out, you know, oh wait, this should actually be a, you know, transaction request, we would have to close out the old ticket and open the new ticket. That was definitely, yes, this is acquisitions. This is an acquisition session. We will be getting to the acquisitions part in a moment. Once we got through, okay, sorry, I'm looking, I want to make sure that I address anything that needs to be addressed quickly. I'm looking in the chat over here. So in any case, we have streamlined the notifications process. Okay, we're now operating on a case ticket system. So what that means is that no matter what your initial question is, if you need some other kind of service, then we don't change anything. It keeps the same number. It's the same ticket. There's less confusion. It's definitely a big improvement. Okay. All right. Universal search. I already talked about that. It's actually a smart search. Much improved. So you know what a smart search is when you go into the bar, you know, in Google and you start typing in, Google starts trying to figure out what it is you're looking for. This search does the same thing. Okay, so you're going to be typing in, you know, how do I change my direct deposit? How do I get to C-suite? You know, how do I reset my password? That kind of stuff. It's going to think for you. It'll get there what you want. You can click on it. You'll probably get more than one choice, right? There's probably going to be a bunch of things that have those key search terms in them, and you'll be able to find hopefully what you're looking for much more quickly with that search. And then the last two, knowledge first and streamlined request submission. That kind of goes back to what I was talking about, where we now use a case management system rather than tickets, so that all different requests have the same case. They have a number, and no matter what you're asking or how your transaction may change based on what you're asking for, it is going to have the same number and be easy for you to track, less confusion, okay? We also don't have a portal full of PDFs that you need to click on and download and look at to see if that's the information that you're looking for, okay? That's what we had in the past. We had knowledge articles that were all saved as QRGs or quick reference guides. Now there's still documents saved on the portal that you'll be looking at, but the majority of our knowledge is now stored as knowledge articles, meaning that it's text on a page, and no longer do you have to click through a bunch of different documents, opening them to make sure that the title matches the information that you're looking for. You're able to find that information quickly, and then you can save it via a variety of different methods once you find it. So all of these things are improvements that were requested by our customers, and I'm hopeful that you find them as helpful as others that I have spoken to do. Okay. All right, so for those of you that joined us late, this is acquisitions. What we're doing right now is just talking about the portal, because a lot of folks on this call may not have used the portal before at all, or maybe just once or twice. Also wanted to share with you all the new features of the portal, so that if you were less than enchanted with the old version of the portal, as many of us were, you will know that we took to heart a lot of the feedback that we've gotten over the last few years and have made improvements. So that's really, you didn't have to be here for the last 15 minutes. That's what I said. All right, just kidding. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next slide, please. So I'm going to go really quickly through these slides because they are really visual resources for you, right? How do you navigate the portal? Well, the first thing is the portal web address has not changed. It's the same link that it's always been. So if you have it bookmarked it's the same thing. If you don't have it yet, you're going to get it. Hopefully you do have it already, but if not, that's okay. But yeah, it's here actually embedded in this slide. And as I mentioned earlier, you will be getting this slide deck after the meeting. But yeah, it's the same. So no need to change anything. No need to go, refavorite. You also are, of course, using your same login, your Windows login and password. Excuse me. Okay. What's changed on the portal page, though, you can see there's that big bar at the front there. How can I help? That's our Google search. I like to call it Google. Sure. Can somebody please put the link to the portal in the chat from my team? Great question. Thank you. Okay, so yeah, nothing's changed in terms of how you get to the portal, right? And when you go in first, you're going to see actually a picture of HCHB as a landing page, right? And that's where you're going to put in your credentials, and you'll put in what bureau you belong to too. And that's how you get to your role and your view of the portal, your personal view of the portal. Okay. Couple things to note, you do have to be on the DOC network, right? So whatever your particular bureau is, you have to be on that network or VPN into that network to be able to get to the portal. So if someone wants to check out the portal right now while we're in this meeting, that's fine, but you have to make sure you're on VPN to do so. Otherwise, you're going to get kind of an error message there. Okay, so just want to set expectations for folks. Also, we prefer Google Chrome. That is the browser of choice. It works best there. You can see it on IE and Firefox, but it's not gonna, some of the boxes might be different. You're not gonna get the best experience. Things might not show properly. And we wanna make sure that we're setting you up for success when you visit the portal. So please do use Google Chrome, and also make sure you're on VPN. Okay, most of our bureaus as well, we need to be on government furnished equipment. There are a couple of our customer bureaus that don't require that, but I think for the majority of us, that is definitely a requirement. Okay, so you can see here some of the things I mentioned earlier, right? There's a navigation bar at the top. There's the universal search, my favorite. We've got actions and notices over here on the right. You can see open to-dos, tickets, and things. We're going to talk about those later. There's a port on welcome announcement. And as I said, the announcements are going to be tailored to you depending on your bureau and role. So you're not just going to see like all the random, cool things that are going on at NOAA or outages at Census, because if you're not at NOAA and Census, those things don't apply to you. Okay, so we're going to make sure that we keep that as clean as possible for you. And then we also have a new favorites section, which we didn't have before, and we're going to talk more about that in a bit. But again, like these slides, as I go through the next few slides, are just chock full of info. I'm not going to read them to you, but it'll be a nice resource for you later when you're paging back through. If there was something that I mentioned that you can't quite remember where it was or how to do it, you'll be able to quickly find that on here. All right, let's go to the next slide, please. My allergies are acting up this week. Where do I find resources? So two of the most common reasons that people go to the portal is finding information, right? How do I do this? And then also submitting requests, okay? To find information on specific topics, you're going to reference topic pages by entering key terms into that universal search bar. As I mentioned before, I'm going to talk about that bar on almost every slide because honestly, it's the quickest and easiest way for me to find the things I'm looking for. But there are other ways to find things too, right? Just if you're in a rush and you just want, or you're not really sure where to look for something, you can go right into that search bar. Okay. Our topic pages are organized in a really user-friendly sort of way. One of the things we used to hear from folks were that they felt they were being attacked by words when they went to the portal, because the beneficiaries page, for instance, would have an overview of what a beneficiary was and then just scrolls and scrolls and scrolls of information, right? So somebody who wanted to find out how to designate their TSP beneficiary sometimes had to scroll, maybe even all the way down, just, to find the information. And that's frustrating. That's not a good user experience. So what we did was we organized the information on a topic page by headings, or almost like a frequently asked questions document, right? So you can scroll through these few headings, find the one you're interested in, click on it, and then the information you're interested in will drop down. And at that point, you can either favorite it by subscribing to it, or you can save it as a PDF and download it. It's completely up to you, but you're not having to click through, you're not having to scroll through a bunch of information that you're not interested in. And you're also not having to click on a variety of PDFs that all kind of look like they might be what you want, but you're not really sure, so you have to look at them all, right? That's also a frustrating experience. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next slide. Requesting services. Okay, so the request page on the portal outlines everything that's required when you submit a request, depending on what kind of request you're asking for. And like I said, we're going to demonstrate this later, and we're going to talk more about acquisitions and what exactly you guys are going to be doing in here. You either enter related terms into that universal search bar to get to this page, or you can click on request services in that top navigation bar, and that'll take you to the service catalog. Okay, and then you would use the left-hand categories to filter down to the subtopic. Every page also has links to a related topic page. So you can scroll down to those related articles and just click on the title to be taken back to that topic page. Okay, that's very useful in case you need a refresher on specific details, checking back to see, oh wait, what was that again that I had to submit here? And then of course, once a request is submitted, you're going to be able to track that status in the My Tickets page. We're going to talk about that next. And this is a big change for a lot of you. All right, we can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Okay, so another point of customer feedback from that existing portal was the difficulty of keeping track of tickets. So those of you who are not HR customers of ours and do not have experience with submitting tickets on the portal, this is great that you're coming in at this time, right? Because we've made so many improvements to how we manage the ticket page. I'm really glad if that's your first experience with it. Okay, so you can kind of see here what that ends up looking like once you submit the request. It comes to here and you can start tracking it. These are just screenshots. We're going to actually demonstrate and show you what this looks like, but it's much more streamlined. All your tickets are together and you can filter them based on, if you submitted something for yourself, if you submitted it for someone else, if someone submitted it on your behalf, right? Sometimes people put in tickets for us. And then if you're on the watch list for a ticket. And the reason you might be on a watch list is if someone puts in a request and they are going to go on vacation for a week, right? And they want you to be aware of how that request is progressing, and when it's done, they would put you on the watch list for that. Okay, so that's just another way of kind of managing that workflow, right? Keeping awareness to make sure that you have access and transparency into what's happening. Okay. All right, we can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. Oh, you know what? Actually, I forgot one thing. I apologize. Can you please go back? Sorry about that, AP. I thought I was going to talk about this later on in the presentation, but I realized this is the right time to mention this. So, when we're talking about tickets, right, and watching watching progression, you can see here the little, we call it the pizza tracker on the ticket watch list side. You can see it says received, reviewing, processing, completed. We realize that you all are used to submitting your tickets via email, right, through the OCIO. That process has now been replaced. However, we're encouraging you guys to lean in to submit the tickets via the portal. We're going to show you how to do that today, but I want to be clear that if for any reason you're unable to access the portal, if you're not at your computer or if you're not on VPN and you're having trouble getting in, whatever the reason, you still have the option of emailing your requests in, okay, to create a ticket. And you can also still use the phone. We have a new phone number for you that we're going to provide later, and an email address now, enterpriseservices@doc.gov. Again, all this information is going to be provided later. I just wanted to acknowledge that you're not being cut off entirely from the old method of doing this. What we've done is we've improved what we're doing, and we've removed the OCIO from the ticket process. Okay, so that's really the big change. There's a different email address for you to use if you're going to email your question in, and a different phone number to call. But this ticketing system, we're really hoping you will see that once you get used to, going to the portal and using it, that you'll find that it is very helpful and streamlines things and keeps everything in one place for you. Okay, now we can go to the next slide. Sorry. That was the best place for me to mention that. Okay, so some things that we are going to talk about here are to-dos and surveys. Again, not going to spend a ton of time on this because we are going to demonstrate it, but these are improvements that we've made to the portal. Sometimes, especially when you are submitting something that has attachments, right? If you're putting something in or something of that nature, if something's not right, there's a signature missing, whatever it is, sometimes we have to then go back to a customer and say, hey, we don't have all the information that is required to either answer your question or to help you or process your transaction. So we might need to ask you for something. Well, now we call that a to-do. And so instead of you having to, not read our minds, but having to look around in your email, if you get an email from us saying that there's something that we need from you to be able to finish out your request, you'll have a to-do. So when you log into the portal, you'll see at the top a to-do list, right? I find to-do lists very helpful. I know a lot of people don't, and I'm also one of those people that has to write them down. I'm a pen and paper person as opposed to, taking a picture or whatever. So it's like your own little to-do list. If there's things that we need from you to complete things that you're trying to do in the portal, they're going to be all in one place. So especially for those of you who are also HR customers, you might be familiar with this. Now we've kind of streamlined that for you as well. So you can see all at once if there's anything that's required of you. You can get it to us that much quicker, hit the complete button, and then we can continue helping you. Okay. Surveys. That's something that's probably, I'm not sure if you guys had surveys with the OCIO ticketing of your requests previously, but that's a great way for us to, make sure that what we're doing is working, right? And if it's not working, finding out that it's not and that there are improvements that need to be made from every perspective, right? From the technology perspective, from the customer service perspective, it's always good to have feedback. So if you're not used to having a survey once on a ticket like this, we would appreciate it if you would get in the habit of taking the survey once you have closed out a request and you've gotten what you needed from our acquisition team, or if you're an HR customer of ours from them as well. But we keep all the surveys in one spot too, because if you're someone who opens a number of tickets, right? Maybe you're opening acquisition tickets because you're an acquisition professional. Maybe you're opening tickets for yourself, right? Because you need some HR services and things. You're going to get more than one survey. So in this case, it's all together. You're not going to have to hunt through your email. We want to make it convenient for you to give us feedback. Okay. So that's that tab. That's also a new feature for that. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next slide because now we're going to delve into the acquisition specific actions. So here's what's changing specifically for our acquisition customers. Okay. All right, let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, this is kind of an eye chart. I know it's small, but again, you're going to get this. You'll be able to look at it up close. You can print it out and stick it next to your monitor, whatever you'd like to do. But all of our acquisition customers, NOAA, Census, PTO, NIST, and all of the small bureaus are now going to have access to the new look and feel of the portal and the acquisition resources under Browse Resources. Okay. Moreover, Enterprise Services will now provide acquisition system support services. So that's the big change, right? The ticketing system. We're calling that the acquisition system support services. We're going to now be providing those for BIS, BEA, EDA, ITA, MBDA, NTIA, NTIS, OIG, and the Office of the Secretary. Wow, that's the first time I've said all of that out loud. I've read it before. But all right, good. And I articulated everything clearly, I think. This transition is going to help streamline that support, right, for those acquisition systems so that you can experience more timely processing and have more transparency into the status of your open tickets, right? So it's one thing for the folks who are helping you on the other side, right, when you have a system issue, for them to be able to track the ticket, right? They're able to see once they get it, they put it in the system, they're tracking, they know where they are in the process, but in the past, you haven't had that visibility. So now we're adding that for you all, that transparency. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next slide, please. All right, slide 14. What is changing for acquisition system support services? Okay, so basically right now or up until this week, acquisition system support tickets were submitted through the IT service desk, right? Managed by the OCIO. Now that we've launched this new version of the portal, those system service requests for the bureaus that I mentioned earlier are going to be submitted via the portal on a dedicated service request page. Okay, so you're going to have a specific service request page for acquisition service requests. Our ES acquisitions team is going to have instant access to see and respond to tickets for assignments, report requests, and user access requests for C-suite, FPDS, and other procurement systems for timelier processing. Now, I recognize that in the past, I believe when folks submitted their ticket to OCIO, they might CC members of the acquisition team, right? To make sure that if there was some sort of delay or if people, weren't able, if the OCIO help desk there was a run on them one day and they weren't able to pass that along to our acquisitions team timely, then, that was kind of some insurance, right? I get it, right? I would do the same thing. So you're not going to need to do that anymore because now they're going to get it immediately. So we're kind of cutting out that middleman, right? We're cutting out the need for you to CC like Julian and Tim on things because you want to make sure they're going to see it. It's going to come directly to them now through the system when you submit tickets on the portal, okay? So I just wanted to make that clear. All right, having an integrated help desk with acquisition is going to help because again, it's going to centralize that service. They're going to be able to track and manage levels of urgency, right? During triage, they can prioritize tickets better. They're also going to get them right away, right? And then also you're going to have that visibility. You'll be able to see what's happening and whether or not they've had a chance to look at it or, things of that nature. Okay, we're not going to have that OCIO intermediary anymore. Okay, we can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. All right, how is this going to function? So again, we're going to show you the portal in a few minutes live, but I want you to have this as a resource with these screenshots. It is very small now, but you'll have that sent to you later and you'll be able to look at it in more detail. But as I mentioned previously, those customers within the bureaus that I mentioned, and I'll say them again really quickly just to be clear: BIS, BEA, EDA, ITA, MBDA, NTIA, NTIS, OIG, and Office of the Secretary. You're now going to be submitting all of your acquisition system service requests on the portal, right? Instead of through the IT help desk. Again, with the disclaimer, we recognize that there may be times that you're unable to get to the portal, right? For whatever reason, you're still going to have access to use an email address to submit your request. It will be different, not the OCIO one that you had before, a different one which we'll provide you. And also you'll still have the opportunity to call and talk to a person. We have an 800 number that we're also going to provide you. Okay, so I just want to be clear there. We do prefer that you use the portal, right? And we'd like you to try to do that first, right? Because again, practice makes perfect, you'll get more used to it and you'll start to see the benefit of using that. I realize it's a change, right? But if you adopt that change and you kind of see what the benefits are, it just gets easier, But again, we want to make sure that you understand that you still have the other two options if needed, right? You're not going to languish without a password for 2 days because you couldn't get on the VPN. It's not going to happen like that. All right. Let's see. We are going to, so for more information, so here's the other thing that I wanted to mention on this page. If you want to submit additional questions, can I ask folks to please mute their phone? I think we have somebody that's not muted. All right, cool. Thank you very much. One of the things I want to mention here is to find more information or submit additional questions, right? All acquisition professionals will now click the Ask a Question tab on that homepage navigation bar, and you can see it here. Select Ask ACQ a Question, and that's how you would request support from Enterprise Services. So we are going to demonstrate that later. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next slide because I think it's time for our demo. Yes, excellent. All right, so thanks for listening. I am going to now hand it over to AP, who's going to walk us through the portal and show us how it looks in real time. AP, are you ready for us?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Tracy. Can you
Awesome.
hear me?
I can. You're a little bit quiet. If you can turn up your volume. This is the thing. Poor AP. I go through this every time with her because I'm very loud and she's very modulated. She's got a nice moderate tone. Sometimes people have trouble hearing her. I'm going to stop talking now, girl. It's your turn.
Okay.
All right. That sounds good. That's a good tone. Good volume.
So give me one moment while I pull up the portal. Okay, we are in business. So as Tracy mentioned, we made some exciting new enhancements to the existing portal that I would like to walk you through live right now. As you can see right here, immediately, the homepage has changed quite a bit. We have reorganized to make it easier for you as customers to find the information you need, submit those service requests, and really just navigate where you need to go more efficiently. So as we highlighted,
AP, sorry, it's Tracy. It sounds like some folks are having trouble hearing you. Can you check on your volume too? And everyone else, please turn up your volume on your end. Maybe together we can meet in the middle. Sorry, I'm so loud. And I
no worries. Can you hear me now?
that's closer. Thank you.
My face is next to my laptop, so people can get a chuckle. So as we highlighted during the presentation, when you log in, you will immediately be greeted by this lovely welcome message. This is above the new universal search bar, which we are encouraging everyone to use first as a way to find what you need by entering just, a search term related to what you want to find out, and that'll direct you to all of our different resources and pages. Then scrolling down here, you will see those tailored announcements based on your bureau and your role. So for most of you all, that would probably be something related to acquisitions. Something you need to know would be highlighted right here. Then you will have a preview of any of your open to-dos, tickets, and surveys right here. Scrolling down, you will see we have subscribed articles and favorited links. So as you are exploring the portal and find some things that are particularly relevant to you or your role, you can both subscribe to those topic pages, those articles that we mentioned. So you can see here, I subscribe to our acquisition FAQ. So that'll display in a nice list for, like I said, all of those that you most frequently want to access, as well as favorited links. So those, sites that you might want to visit, including I have here WebTA, my EPP. You just click on the little heart icon to both favorite or unfavorite those links, and it'll pull them up into this nice consolidated list for you. So now scrolling back up, I want to highlight the reorganized navigation bar. In the previous portal, we had tabs kind of for different services, but now we've broken it out into what you want to do on the portal. So find more information about topics in the Browse Resources tab, submit service requests through the Request Services tab, ask a question, and then find out more about enterprise services if you're interested. You also see here that you have a preview of any of your to-dos, tickets, and surveys displayed on any page on the portal in addition to the homepage. So just like this navigation bar will appear no matter where you are on the site for convenience. So this kind of display really emphasizes the theme of how we reorganize the portal. Once again, we want to make sure it's as easy as possible for you to click through to the different kind of channels you want to find, no matter where you are. So now I'm going to show you how the universal search bar actually works. Let's say I want to find out more information about acquisitions. And this will generate a variety of results related to the term I entered. So you can see there's quite a bit of information here, but I'm going to focus on our topic page, which is Enterprise Services Acquisition FAQs. As Tracy also mentioned during the presentation, these topic pages, which we used to call quick reference guides or QRGs, provide information on how to access services. But in the old format, those QRGs, you were not able to search or generate results from the text. So we have reorganized them into these new pages we're calling topic pages. And this approach kind of is easier to look at visually, is you're not overwhelmed by just pages and pages of text. You can really check out these questions and figure out, like, what do I want to find out? What do I need to know? And depending on what that is, you can just expand here, and that'll highlight the short version of any of that information that you want to find out. So really just honing in on only the most relevant info for you. If you are interested in reading all of the questions about acquisitions, you can expand every single one. And also want to highlight the feature here. So say you're reading through, you're like, this is very relevant for me, I want to save it. You can now click Save as PDF, and this will generate a PDF file that you can save locally on your desktop offline to reference whenever you'd like. If you want to just have this at hand on the portal, you can do what I mentioned on the homepage, is subscribe to the article by clicking the subscribe button right here, and that will bring it to your subscribed articles section on your homepage, and you will also receive notifications if any of this information is updated. So you will have all the most recent info right at your fingertips by subscribing to articles that are relevant to you. So now I want to also highlight that, say I found this page through the universal search bar by entering acquisitions. You can also access our entire knowledge base and knowledge library by clicking on that Browse Resources tab. So I'll do that right here. And you can see we've organized this by category. It also shows on this homepage kind of my subscribed articles, most viewed articles, and top rated articles, which is fun. But if I want to find anything related to acquisition services, I can click on the acquisition services category, which will bring you back to that same page that I just showed you all of the enterprise services acquisition FAQs. So that's just kind of the manual route to get where I just showed you, but want to emphasize that as a theme again in the portal is you can enter a search term, which is the most encouraged way, probably the fastest, but if you're interested in more information, you can also access that manually through Browse Resources. So there's two ways or multiple ways to get where you want to go. So now say we've learned a little bit more about acquisitions and we want to submit an acquisition system support request. I can then click on Request Services tab here. And once again, we have organized our service requests by category. So you can find them based on kind of what they're related to. And for us, that is acquisition system support. I will click right here, which leads me to the acquisition system support service request page. So as a reminder, in the previous portal, we had service request pages, but heard from you as customers that they were just a little overwhelming, confusing, maybe hard to navigate. So now we have consolidated them to just have required fields. It prompts you to add any required attachments, and then I would just click submit. So really streamlining that process for you to submit a request more easily and more quickly. So want to reiterate again, something Tracy said is we know that as acquisition professionals, you may be used to submitting tickets via email, but we do encourage you to try this out, kind of go into the portal, submit a request, and just see how that goes. We're hoping that it's a much easier process for you all.
Hey, AP, it's Tracy. I want to just interrupt you there for a moment, if I may. So someone mentioned that a link they tried to use within the FAQ page to the SSI site did not work earlier today. I appreciate that information. I've made a note of that so we can check on it. And then someone else asked the question around, and I think Joanna, I might need you I might need to phone a friend on this one. Someone's asking, is there a quick way to access the current doc-wide strategic sourcing contracts? Mandatory, non-mandatory, etc. I used to be able to go there in 3 clicks.
It's interesting. I think the question came from Jeff. So there is not a way to look at the overview, but I believe, let me see. Bear with me 1 minute. I'm trying to log into the portal myself so I can kind of walk through the process because I actually just gone through this with Ellen.
Hi, I'm on the line, Joanna, if you want me to help out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could, Ellen, if you want to, or Ellen and Joanna, if you want to give AP the instructions, she's right here. We're looking at the portal, so maybe she can do this for us. Yeah.
We could do 2 ways. We can do the search bar where we search SSI, or we can do the browse resources and filter down to acquisitions. So I just click at here, I just press enter, and then I go to like all the search fields, just because it has a lot of contracts here, and then you continue to keep writing SSI catalog. If you want to write the catalog at the end of it. And then All right, it's a little bit of play. If you scroll down, you'll see. I think it's good.
That could be my bad. Did I misspell catalog?
No. So I'll say the probably I know it worked the other day when Joanne and I were on the phone. The other way I went was browse resources and then filter down through acquisitions and then SSI and then it popped up there. So the knowledge bases I filtered through acquisitions. On the top, the knowledge bases for the categories. Yeah. And then I went to strategic sourcing. And then through down at the bottom, I believe the catalog. And then you go to acquisitions catalog of common supplies and services.
Yep, there it is.
And then, like AP showed us, subscribing to this article, probably the fastest way to get it to your page. And then there's an attachment over here that actually has the chart with all portal links.
Yeah, this is the information, and it also show you what's mandated and what's not mandated and so forth, so.
All right, great question and great on the spot live demo, guys. I love it. So AP, if we go back to your homepage now, we're going to see that that's favorited. So now you'll be able to find that quickly no matter what. Is that right? Or is this the dev environment, so it's not going to show?
No, that's correct. See right here, it popped up in my homepage under subscribed articles. It now appears, so I can access it more easily.
All right, thanks for the questions, guys. Those are great. And I'll look into that link that wasn't working earlier.
Yeah, no, thank you all. That was awesome. It was a nice little live test of how to get where we need to go, like I've been emphasizing the whole time. Well, great. If there are no other questions on that end, I'm just going to continue with highlighting a few other features. So say I had submitted one of the acquisition system support requests, and then I want to see the status of that request. I'm actually going to hop to our other environment to show where I have some information kind of staged in the back end. But if I submitted a service request and want to see that the status of that, I will go to the new My Tickets page. So in the previous portal, we had multiple pages to track the status of your tickets, but now we have this one page that shows all of your tickets, no matter what type or what kind they are, which makes it easier for you to see everything in one place. So to explain kind of what we're viewing here, you'll have each row is one ticket, and that shows the ticket title, who the number, who is the ticket for, the status of that ticket, and when it was last updated. So we also have these nice little visual symbols here, which indicates your role in that ticket. So the blue person means that I submitted the ticket for myself. That green person means that I submitted it for someone else. The gray plus sign means that someone submitted a ticket for me. And then lastly, the orange eye means I'm on the watch list for that ticket. Within an individual ticket page, I'll just open this one as an example. You will be able to see this status tracker at the top, which shows you kind of where is this ticket living right now. This current example is processing waiting on customer, aka there is a required action on my end in order to push it to completion. So if we scroll down here a little bit, you'll see all the details about this particular ticket, including its owner, the subject, which is both me, anyone who may be on the watch list, that description, and any attachments. But now I want to draw your attention here is this ticket is processing waiting on customer, and that is because I've been assigned a to-do. So to-dos are new, and they have replaced our old system of sending emails in order to request more information, which may have gotten lost in the shuffle of everyone's inbox. But now, if there's something that you need to do to complete your ticket, you will be sent a notification, but also you will have to-dos on the portal, which you can see are summarized here as like a kind of a push notification of how many you have, and you can click, but I can click also just right here, and this to-do prompts me. It's saying I have an incorrect document and I must upload the appropriate one, which if I were to drop a file in and click submit, that would then push my ticket forward and enable it to be completed. I can also access all of my to-dos, as I mentioned, by clicking the to-dos button, which shows that same required action. Just if I had multiple, they'd all be listed here, both ones that are open and require my action, as well as any of those that I've completed historically if you wanted to go back in and check those out for any reason. So this is just kind of, once again, showing a little to-do list is an easier way to make sure your tickets are completed as quickly as possible, and anything required on your end is easier to just complete and get those things moving along.
Hey, AP, it's Tracy. I just want to jump in here and acknowledge that I think the majority of you folks, especially those who are not HR customers of ours, are probably not going to be using the to-do feature that much, because a lot of the service support requests you're going to be asking for are going to be something that you don't require attachments for and things like that. But in case you do use it, or in case you are an HR customer of ours as well, this is definitely a feature that I think is going to come in handy.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for calling that out, Tracy. So then finally, say I submitted a request, it was completed, and now we are encouraging you all to please submit feedback on how your experience went. So you will do so via, first you will receive a prompt, like a notification email saying please complete a survey, but also you will have the My Surveys tab here, which shows I have an open survey to complete on my experience. And this is just, want to say again, we value both positive and maybe constructive feedback to let us continually enhance and just make the portal the best possible customer experience. So really, if you all could fill out your surveys, that would be amazing. Okay, so now I've walked you through kind of how to find information, request a service, complete your to-dos if that's applicable, track your tickets, and fill out those surveys. But now I'm going to go back to the homepage for a moment and say you go into the portal and don't really know what you need and are just kind of a little lost. So that is why we have what was previously called Need Help. We now have this Ask a Question tab where you can go in and specifically click, if you click Ask Acquisitions a Question, this is where you can submit, this will load, fill out these fields and submit, and this is where you will be able to contact Enterprise Services for anything acquisitions related that you may need more information on. So this is a really handy feature if you've already kind of independently explored and can't find what you need, go here and this will submit an inquiry for you. So bringing it back, just now want to say again that this homepage has everything you need to know, has all of the different tabs and features and kind of everything customized to your experience. So hoping you all enjoy and are able to kind of play around with these features as you all went live this week. So that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. I'm going to transition back to the presentation so we can collect some of your impressions on the content and the demonstration of what you just saw.
Great, thanks AP. That was a great demonstration, and I really appreciate the engagement here in the chat box. Pardon me. That great question allowed us to really demonstrate something that is important to you, right? Not just generally. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it up a little bit. I'd like to go ahead and answer some of these questions now, AP, just in case we need to go back in. And of course, I said that after you've already switched your screen, but just keep it here for now because I think what I'm, you know, right? All right, changing the format. We're going to go ahead and answer some of these questions, and I'm going to ask my phone a friend acquisition colleague if she can chime in here, because I think some of this is probably not going to be able to be answered by me. All right, let's go up to the top, because I saw something in here. No, maybe it was just feedback on a knowledge base. Okay, I think Sarah took care of that. All right, let's see. Okay, so I hear thunder in the background. If it gets noisy over here, I think there's a storm coming through. Apologies in advance. Okay, so we've got some feedback from someone to reorganize our knowledge base. Definitely love that feedback. Thank you. We are going to give copies of the slides. Excellent question. We will make sure everybody on this call gets everything, even if they weren't on the invitation. We talked about the SSI. Okay, here we go. How often are you updating the SSI site for the various strategic sourcing vehicles? Ellen or Joanna, I welcome your response.
I can answer that. We receive the SSI updates from an internal team member on ESA acquisition team. And as soon as those are confirmed by Chris Wallace, they go over and they're updated on the acquisition portal. So they're pretty much within like a day or two up to date, as long as I get the information. But it's pretty real time. But if you see something that's missing or you see a red flag, please feel free to reach out. So you can use the ask questions feature and let us know that you feel something's missing.
Okay, thanks, Ellen. Anything to add, Joanna? I think that was pretty comprehensive, but.
Tracy.
All right, thanks. I just wanted to make sure you had the opportunity. Ellen, that was a great answer and it was very complete. Thank you. All right, let's see. Another question. Is there an updated new C request account PDF form that one would attach to the new ticket submission? And if so, where would one find that in the knowledge base?
We would have to link to either Tim or Julian if they're on the line. They handle that.
Hi, Ellen. This is Tim. So there is no updated form that gets reviewed by OAM on an annual basis. So given the next review period, we will be making some adjustments and we'll make sure that that is loaded onto the knowledge base.
Awesome. Thanks, Tim. I'm sorry that I didn't introduce you earlier. I apologize. I didn't realize you were on there. Thanks for joining. Oops, I muted myself. Okay, let's see. All right, so someone asked to have the link to the SSI page being shown, which I think we did. Is the portal going to be updated with FAI CSOD, which replaced FAI TAS? Sorry, I'm not familiar with those acronyms, so I'm not sure if you guys say them as words or just spell them out. Can somebody take that one? All right, I'm not hearing anyone. Oh, go ahead.
I would have to definitely confirm that with Chris or his team before any updates are made. Just because moved over from the last portal, so if updates need to be updated, they will be updated. I'll take note of that and bring it back to Chris's attention.
Great, thanks, Ellen. So yeah, so this is one of those things that we'll make sure when we send you out the slides and the link that we have that response in there. So it may take us a little bit more time to make sure that we get answers to any questions, but we'll definitely get the information back out to you. All right, let's see what else we have here. This is the FAQ in question, and it appears the link is working now. Excellent. Well, I love to hear that. What products and services are available under? Oh, okay. Thank you so much. He's showing me the link that wasn't working, which is now working. So yeah, that's weird. I appreciate you letting me know that because that saves me something. But definitely, like this is feedback that is very valuable, right? If you're using the portal and you see that something's not working, we definitely want to know. So I would say if you're going to provide feedback, you can just quickly maybe mention it in one of those ask IT a question, but you can say like, this isn't a question, I'm letting you know this link isn't working, right? Because that's something that we can go ahead and look into. So thanks for that. Does this replace, Tim is a rock star, indeed. Does this replace client services? So I'm definitely going to have to defer to my acquisition colleagues on this one. Go ahead.
Hi, Tracy. Yeah, I think I can answer that one. So for customers that utilize, at least from my perspective, NOAA C-Suite, they'll still have to contact NOAA Client Services because as of right now, Julian and I don't have any system administration accessed in NOAA, Census, or NIST. So this mostly reflects just OSC stars.
All right, cool. Thank you so much for that information. And Tim, I don't know if you're looking at the meeting chat, but you're getting a lot of love in the chat over here. There's like hashtags and all kinds of icons and things. You might want to take a couple of snapshots of that and put it in your performance evaluation for this year.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it very much.
You got a lot of fans. All right, let's see. If I am working to input a PR into C request and run into an issue and need assistance from Tim or Julian, do I now need to log into the portal and request assistance via a ticket? I believe that is the service that we are providing the ticketing system for. Is that right, Tim?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah. I'm not as familiar with all of the acquisition systems that you guys consider support services. So Mary's asking if she's working to input a PR into C request and she has an issue and needs assistance from you or Julian, is this now the process is that she's going to log into the portal and request assistance via a ticket?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I wasn't sure what exactly you guys were using the old process for. So Mary, yes, this is what we're talking about here. But again, want to put out that disclaimer that if for some reason you're unable to get access to the portal or you're having trouble, you'll have an email address option and you'll also have a telephone number option. Okay, it's just not going to be the same one you used before. Just want to stress that, not the OCIO one. You'll get a different email address. Okay, cool. Thank you for that. More love for Tim. All right. So if we don't see a specific software listed on the SSI page, should we assume that it is not a software that enterprise services would procure? Great question.
Yeah. Yeah, you can assume that it's not probably a service or a product that's included in the initial SSI contract, but you can always reach out to Amaret or Jean Mann if you had a specific product or services that were not listed on the BPA.
Awesome. Thank you, Joanna. All right, so here's a question I can answer. Someone asked, how do I get the recorded version of this presentation? Well, we are going to send it to you as a participant. So you'll be able to either save it for yourself or share it with others. That will be coming out. Oh yeah, somebody already answered it. Way to go, AP. Stole my thunder. That's okay. We'll be sending a link as a follow-up to the session. That's the short version, right? All right. I am looking here to see if there's any other questions. Okay, so someone wants a clarification. So we no longer go to client services for any issues that are related to C-Suite, but we use client services for all other help ticket issues. I don't know.
Hi, Tracy. I can jump in here. So to kind of group Marion and Kimberly's questions, just a clarification for you. Are you talking about client services for NOAA's help desk, or is there a different client services that perhaps I'm not familiar with? For NOAA, okay. So yes, if you were previously interacting with NOAA client services, you should still maintain that help desk for any services that you need from client services. Again, we don't have any administration access in NOAA, NIST, or Census Comprising Suite. So for anything that's related to OS C-Suite, so if you're in the enterprise services instance of Comprising Suite or interacting with any acquisition systems that enterprise services is involved with, then this portal is for you.
Perfect. That was a great response. Thank you, Tim. And thanks for the questions, guys. Yeah, I mean, that was that long laundry list of acronyms that I read earlier were the bureaus that this does apply to. Okay, let's see what else we've got here. Will things change once the new BAS system is implemented? That's a great question. I do not know the answer to that. I'm not sure.
That is the plan. That is the plan. Yes,
Okay, great.
That's correct.
Perfect. We'll see that. I'm glad you're on the call. All right, let's see what else we've got here. Will the training session be posted prominently on Portal 2.0 so folks that didn't attend, didn't get their invite, or otherwise wouldn't be yet connected to the training session? Yes, the answer is that this will be posted on the portal. You will be able to search for it in the resources section. So that browse resources section, or using the universal search, my favorite shortcut, you'll be able to find it. Okay, we're also going to have it on our YouTube channel. For those of you who know we have one, we do have one where we post a lot of our recorded trainings and other trainings, ad hoc trainings and things that people ask for. They're there as well. And the nice thing about those is you don't have to be on the portal or your government furnished equipment to access those, right? You can do that from any smartphone or smart device. All right, cool. I'm glad I was able to, yeah, I know, right? You can please be one of our followers, Enterprise Services on YouTube. Good stuff. Hey, oh yeah, there we go. Alex, see, thanks AP. I'm a little behind. She posted our YouTube link there. Share with your friends. I put it in my performance plan this year that I was going to get 1,000 followers. So I'm feeling a little bit of pressure. No pressure to you guys though for following us on YouTube. All right, I think that is all the questions we had for now. So I think we're going to transition back over to our reactions. Okay, I wanted to get your questions answered because I wanted you to not be worrying about the answer. Right now, I feel comfortable moving into our polling question. Cue the polling question. Nice. So in 1 or 2 words, and the reason I say 1 or 2 words is because yes, please show the love. I'd really like to get a good performance evaluation this year. I did last year too. You did. Thank you so much, Regina. Okay, so people are subscribing right now. That's making me very happy. This is my favorite training of the entire week. All right, so the reason I say 1 or 2 words, how you're feeling about the portal, is because if you add more than that amount of words, it kind of breaks them up and makes a weird looking Wordle. So if you can think of 1 or 2 words, there we go. See, beautiful, excited. I hope you're excited. I know it's weird. I know it's a change. Nobody likes change, myself included. But we're really hoping that once you guys get in the habit of using this system, you'll find that it's beneficial. And we're hoping that it's beneficial to the folks who are going to be taking care of your requests too, right? If there's going to be more transparency, they'll potentially get things quicker. Although I know that a lot of you were CCing them on your requests to OCIO too, but hopefully this is just a better experience for everyone. Okay, so some people are uncertain, and that is totally fine. That is honest, right? You're anticipating, okay, good. This was informative. I appreciate that. We tried. There's a lot of information. All right, I'll give folks another couple seconds to come up with any words that they're thinking of about the new portal. And hopefully those of you who are also our HR service customers will find that it's helpful to you in that respect as well, not just in your acquisition role. And it is definitely a little bit of a different navigation. So I really appreciate the questions that you all were asking so that we could show you live, you know, how to find those things, because it's definitely different. It's a different look, different navigation. All right. Well, hopeful appears to be the most answer, the biggest answer, because it's the biggest word there, and that's how this works if you've never used it before. The more an answer comes in, the larger the word appears in the Wordle. So, all right, cool. We can go ahead and go to the next slide, please. I'm going to be respectful of everyone's time. Okay, so here's another poll question. Which feature do you think is going to be most helpful to you? Now, this is really a question that we ask folks who are subscribing to our, or who are HR customers as well. But I think I know what everybody's going to say here. So far, they haven't said it. Universal search. Oh, there we go. Oh, beautiful. It's like you read my mind. I have to say, I personally agree that those are the two things that I find most helpful as well. All right. I'll give everybody a couple seconds. Universal search wins always, as it should. All right, browse resources is coming up. Thanks, AP. So we had a great question in there. So if I missed the employee training, which was yesterday, can I access it on YouTube? And AP, once again, is killing it over there. She's just posted the link. So if you missed the training yesterday, the NOAA employee training, you're welcome to check it out. All right, this is good. I'm glad to see this because I do think that those are the two most helpful things for you all in the role that you play with acquisitions. I think you're going to find those to be helpful. And if you do have questions about how to navigate and stuff, you can definitely reach out to us. We're happy to help. Okay, I think we can go ahead and go to the next slide. I haven't seen any other questions in here except for the ones that AP is answering. Okay, so if there's a feature on the portal, this is just one of those like thought-provoking questions. We always have to do this. It's part of my like focus group facilitation engagement training. Sorry, bear with me. What feature do you want to learn more about? So if you're really not familiar with the portal and you've seen a lot today and you're like, that looked kind of neat. I wonder if I could learn more about that. What would that be? Ticket track, universal search, that's my favorite. All you need to know is that it's amazing. It's just like Google. It's my personal Google. How to use acquisition strategic sourcing services, okay. Ticket tracking, excellent. So you all can, you can go visit, okay, micro purchasing using the SSI network equipment contracts, that's a lot. I would say this. Any of these topics that you are interested in looking into, I would invite you all after this training or whenever you get a chance to go ahead and go into the portal. Go ahead and bookmark the link so you can find it again later. And put some stuff into the universal search and see how it works for you. You can also go to your own ticket tracking page, right? Because you won't have put in any tickets yet, more than likely. Or if you are an HR customer of ours, you probably have tickets in there. You can check those out, but just kind of do a little bit of exploring, and look at the different things. You can see right on your homepage where you would be able to track your tickets and things. So, check it out and let us know if you have further questions. There's a lot of resources on there. We're going to talk about those in a minute. We can go ahead and go to the SSI vehicles and what items are covered on them. Okay, so it sounds like what we demonstrated earlier, those the SSI catalog would be something of interest for everybody to check out and favorite, right? One of the things actually I wanted to mention that I don't think AP mentioned it, but it's good to note. A lot of people print things off, right? A lot of people will go find the information they want, they'll save it to a PDF, they'll print it, they'll save it. If you're going to do something like that, you should also subscribe to that article, because not only does it save it in your favorites, but you're also going to get notifications whenever something changes, right? So we talked earlier about, how often is something updated and things like that. So if there's going to be information updated on that particular knowledge article that you have subscribed to, if something happens and it's updated, you're going to get a notification about that. You'll always have the most up-to-date info. So that's also a kind of a plug for subscribing to things on there as well. All right, let's go ahead and go to the next slide, please, because it's 2:20 and I want to make sure we answer any last-minute questions and then also give a quick plug for our resources and recordings and things. Do we have any other questions from folks today? And thanks so much to Joanna and Tim and Ellen for chiming in and helping out, because you guys did a great job and I appreciate it. All right, clearly you did an even more excellent job than I thought, because there are no more questions, so that's excellent too. AP, thanks so much for putting these links in here. And if you guys are familiar with how Teams works, you're going to have access to this Teams chat later. You can actually go back in here. I don't know if you know this. You can actually go back in here and look at these links. So if you want to bookmark these, right, if you don't have time right now, you can go back and find our YouTube channel. You can explore the different trainings that we've got on there. You can find the portal and things of that nature. Make sure you go ahead and do that. You'll have access to this chat later if you don't close it out or delete it. I don't think you can delete it. I've tried to delete some of these. I have so many. But I think that's it for me. So I want to thank everyone for their time and attention today, especially those of you who maybe have seen a lot of this before. I apologize for the repetition, but maybe it was helpful, right? Maybe you understand things a little bit better now. So, all right, great. We are looking forward to seeing everybody on the portal. Always reach out to us if you have any questions. Here, and just for a quick recap slide, you're welcome. Additional information, so you know A is always going to be my first choice, the universal search bar. B would be that browse resources, and you guys clearly flagged that those are your 2 helpful features, right? So here they are. And then C would be that ask acquisition a question, right? And then we've got the link here on this slide to our YouTube channel with our acquisition system support micro training. So you're going to see that is actually up there now. And that is kind of a 7-minute version of what we just shared with you. And many of you are probably thinking, why couldn't we just watch that instead of listening to her? Well, sorry, because there was more information I wanted to share with you, but it'll be a good refresher, okay? And you'll also be able to find the recordings of this training. So again, thanks so much, all of my colleagues that helped out today. Thanks, AP, for driving the show and the demo, and everyone have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.